Hello, my name is Javen, and I will be talking about my life and my introduction to the arts, those of which are poetry, music, and art. Do you love to read poems, the rhymes and witty words that play images inside your mind like a movie? That you can visualize vividly as if you were there, rather than inside your own thoughts, just another wishful thinking with your head in the clouds dreaming? Do you love the sound of music, the way it makes you feel? The emotions that you can hear, but not only with just your ears, but also with your heart and soul. Do you love the visual creativity of art, the colors that brighten up the room, or the darker colors that shade up the corners? Paintings that can paint a perfect picture from a different standpoint, all depending on how you interpret it with your own two eyes. I was so fascinated with poetry that I began to read other books with rhyming. After reading so many poems for the past 15 years of my life, I can remember old fairy tales and childhood nursery rhymes by heart. When I was younger, there was always plenty of books to read around the house. I would only read those books when I was bored. So I picked up a Dr. Seuss book called One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. That book changed my perspective about reading. It made me more interested, opening my mind to a world of creativity with the art of poetry, followed by artistic illustrations. Not too much longer after my introduction into poetry came along my introduction into the wonderful world of music. Poetry was just the first stepping stone for me, but music was the first milestone I reached. Music to me was like a temporary escape from reality as if I were dreaming that I were somewhere else. I probably heard plenty of baby songs and educational songs that were forced to be heard by teachers at school. Even when I would go home on my favorite TV shows growing up. The main reason why I became so mind blown with the world of music was because of my grandparents. If not for them, I would not have been as interested with music as I am now. Plenty of old school songs that my grandma would listen to in the car. My favorite memories with my grandma was going on joyrides and listening to every old school song on the radio. When I say old school, I mean like the 60s to the 80s. She wouldn't let me touch the radio either. If I were to slightly reach over to turn the station, she would swap my hand with her cane and then tell me not to mess around with her jams. I was forced to listen to the golden ages of music and I enjoyed it. And thanks to her, I make my own music now. After the phases of poetry and music came along art. Art was different. It was not just one form of art. Art was almost everything. Art can be drawing, writing, and music. But in this case, it was just drawing. For my introduction into art, I assumed that I was either in an art class at a school or some type of program I went to during summer camp. I was always really talented with my creative side, and when I took that to art, I was able to draw almost anything. I would always take my time drawing to be perfect. I remember receiving an arts award for most creative artist, but I knew that I could do better with my creativity. I was really good at writing poetry, and I put that into a song and drawing a picture for my imagery of my music. I would later on get my poem, song, art published in a poem book as one of the youngest poets in the state of Kentucky. I still write poetry, I still make music, and I still make art. I still put them together to make something amazing out of it. If I ever do become famous, I really want to become famous because of my creativity and my skills.